Hi, it's Teresa with Crafty with Teresa. Thank you so much for joining me today. Well, guess what time it is? It's time for another paper pumpkin kit where you can grab your kit, create 3 cards, 3 of each, for a total of 9 cards. The card kit is called Special Delivery, and you guessed it, it's going to be a Valentine's Day, sending love just for you type of card set. You'll see cards 1 and 2, but my focus will be on card number 3. Now, enough of my chatting. Let's get to crafting. If you don't already know, the Paper Pumpkin Kit comes out monthly with card kits and even projects at times. They come with all the supplies you need to create what's in the kit. So if you're interested in becoming a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, please reach out and I'll be happy to help you with that. Now, it's been a while since I've done a tip and technique video, so I'm going to focus on card number 3 will be my main focus. I hope to share with you some time-saving tips. Now, I don't want to forget about cards 1 and 2, so we'll scan through the supplies of these 2 cards, and they turned out beautiful. Card number 1 is your Happy Valentine's card. You'll have an oval background die cut along with the base piece, which is actually a postage stamp die cut. We'll put the postage stamp onto the card, add the oval background die cut, add the greenery, and put that beautiful pink flower and our sentiment onto that card. It's just beautiful. Card number 2 is a Sending Love card. You'll do some airmail stamping directly onto the card base, add some beautiful hearts onto that card base as well. Then you'll add the pastel color beautiful postage stamp die cut, pop up some white flowers, and wow, another beautiful card. Now, let's take a look at card number 3. The kit gives you your card base, a framed die cut with postage stamps inside, and a sentiment strip, and some blue florals. First, we'll start with stamping our sentiment strip. We'll grab the Just For You stamp and we'll get it ready onto our block. We'll grab the strip and stamp Just For You. Now, that's ready to go. Next, we'll grab the postage mark stamp and add it to our die cut. I'll place it on the rectangle gold triangle right there in the front of that die cut frame, and I'll stamp the postage mark on the front. Now, I changed the design and stamped this to the right, and we'll talk about that and why I made that decision in just a bit. Now, let's take a look at the heart circle and determine how to add that into this die cut frame. This die cut frame is actually what inspired me to do this video. I looked at the die cutting panel and I looked at this and I thought, I have to try to find a way to make that easier to put the adorable postage stamps from the die cut frame onto that card. Now, I struggle with placement, and so this frame was going to be a little harder for me to eyeball if I removed those postage stamps from that frame. Because I design as I go, you'll see it takes me 2 tries to accomplish what I'm trying to do here, which is make this so that I don't have to remove each of those postage stamps outside of that frame and line them up on the card. My first attempt, I left the die cuts in the cut frame before I took them out. What I didn't think about was the gap it would leave because we will eventually remove that little frame. I should say inside frame. Because I'd already stamped the heart circle on that upper right, I had to move to a plan B to cover that gap. Before we go there, though, I grabbed the die-cut frame, added the tearing tape onto the back, and added them to the postage stamps only. I'll grab my handy-dandy pick tool and remove that tape. I'll flip it over and go ahead and place that down pretty easily onto the card. Now, because I'd already done the stamping, I know that I'm not accurate enough to just line that up and try to recreate that heart stamp on those postage stamps on the upper right. So here's what I did. I put the two stamps back inside the grid. I grabbed a pencil and some Post-it notes. I put lines on the top and the bottom of where that circle heart would be inside those two stamps. Then, which is my MO, I eyeballed it. And I stamped the heart circle directly onto the card to take away that gap. Then I added the postage stamps back in, and I think I lined it up pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with it. I added the Just For You sentiment strip. Next, I'll grab the blue florals. I cut them a little so that I would not cover up as much of that stamped postmark in the gold rectangle. I feel like if you've done the work, I don't know that I want to cover it up too much. So I did that, split that blue floral up. Then I took the remaining blue floral and placed it inside the card. But I think we can do even better this next time. So my second attempt is to do this in less time and make it just a tad bit easier. Now here's a look at how this card turned out. I'm really happy with the look of this card. I like the fact that we split the blue florals in between the front and inside the card base. I actually think that turned out great. Now, as we start talking about that second attempt, I'm going to go ahead and give you a heads up. I think this second attempt took me 5 minutes or less to stamp, add the postage stamps to the card. So I think this is our winner chicken dinner. By the way, I wanted to let you know that I do have some tips and technique videos. They're all in one playlist, and I will add the link for you in this video. Now, if you remember, the mistake I made in that first attempt was I did not think about that gap that might show up until it was too late. So this time, we're actually going to add the tear and tape onto the back of that postage stamp die cut all the way through. Now, originally I did not put tear and tape on the two stamps up on the right, but I changed my mind. I was a little concerned that there was a possibility that when I go to stamp the heart, that it would have a crease in it, but you'll see in just a bit it did not. So I'll grab my postage mark. I think I called it a postage stamp earlier. I'll grab my postage mark and I'll go ahead and get that set up. Again, moving it to the right because I like my floral split up and I like that showing a little bit more. We'll take off the tear and tape, then we'll flip it over and add it to our base card. Now we'll remove that small frame. By the way, if you don't have one of these take your pick tools, they're wonderful. You can change the different types of pieces on the bottom. For example, now I'm using the spatula. I kind of needed to slide underneath a couple of those instead of using the pointer side, which I use that quite a bit when I use dimensionals. Now here we're going ahead and we're adding those postage stamps back in because I forgot to take off the tear and tape and put them in. But I did want to show you, I did add some removable tape so that I can line them up really easily. One of my favorite craft items is that removable tape. We'll do that quickly. Then we'll grab our Stampin' Spot and our pretty heart and we'll stamp that to the top. Now, one thing I did want to point out here, if you have never used this negative space, this frame that is a postage stamp would be wonderful to do some shading on the inside and put a bunch of different items on the inside and make your own postage stamp look. That might be an alternate. I'll think about that. Again, I truly believe this took me less than 5 minutes. I want to thank you so much for joining me today, but wait, there's more. If you're new to my channel, I do like to give some coming soon or sneak peek items in my videos at times. So I'll end this with some sneak peeks of some of the items and what I plan to use them for. Endless Love is a beautiful stamp set that could easily be used on your cards here today. I plan to get some additional cards out in the upcoming weeks showing these products for you, so stay tuned. Season to Celebrate, I'll call this my stamp set for the minimalist. This has so many sentiments, not just Valentine's Day, but for sentiments to be used throughout the year. You will see many cards using this stamp set coming from me in coming weeks. Now, last but not least, because this is perfect for the special delivery kit and it's geared towards postage and mail delivery, here are some beautiful ways to show off your special deliveries. You can be using this in your address list, or you can use it on the outside of your envelopes as well. Now, thank you again for joining me. And if you haven't had a chance to do so, please hit subscribe, like, comment, and share. And if you would do that, that would be great. I would appreciate it. And until next time, have a great day.